A writing mentor, I believe, is someone that ultimately helps the students with their writing, sharing their own experiences with the students and helping them to rethink their approaches to writing.
It's not somebody who is there to say to a student, you have to do something in a certain way. It's more about helping the students manage their understanding of their writing.
A writing mentor isn't an expert. A writing mentor is like more of a critical friend. So it's somebody that you can sit down with and talk about your writing with and use as an audience for your writing. So a mentor is more of a sounding board. So it's someone that you can have that conversation with around your writing. It's somebody who can read your writing and respond as a reader, not as a marker, or as a content specialist. So the mentor is, I think critical friend is probably the best way to describe it.
I always think of writing mentors as kind of like mirrors, like we're kind of reflecting your work back at you in order for you to see where the kind of the areas that you can improve, or the good areas and the not so good areas. We're not there to do your work for you. We're there to kind of to help you see the kind of best bits of your work, I suppose, and the bits where there could be some improvement.
What a typical day looks like is having a range of students from a multitude of disciplines bring up some work and want to talk to someone about that work. It might be about something very specific, such as referencing or writing an introduction. It might be something a bit more broad about the overall structure of their argument and whether that is coherent or not.
A different variation of subjects keeps it interesting. Some of the most successful days might only have 2 students, but those students really engage. So every single session that I've done since last year has been different. There's no typical day.
The best thing, I think it has to be seeing the variety of students. You get such a diverse range, and in that sense you get to see lots of different writing styles and stuff. And it's really encouraging, that when they do come back, that you see that there's an improvement in their writing, and I find that quite rewarding, not only for the students obviously, but as an advisor as well.
Well, there are loads of great things about working at the Writing Cafe actually. You get to meet so many people, and that's really nice, and it's really rewarding, especially if you have managed to help somebody break through a wall that they've been struggling with. It's a great feeling.
You get such an insight into the experience of being at university across so many different programs, across so many different people with so many different backgrounds and experiences, and that for me is the best bit.
And I think it's kind of builds on that, but it's seeing them again and seeing them progress and seeing, I don't know, just how grateful some students are just to have that time with you to talk about whatever it is they want to.
I think from a writing cafe perspective, to have a student come up a couple of weeks ago and show us his marks that he was getting prior to coming to the writing cafe and how they leapt after that was really encouraging, and I was glad that he'd taken the time to come and talk to us about that.
The best thing about working at the writing cafe would be meeting all the different people, I would say, talking about your own experiences, and maybe when you see them again for a second time you can see that they've taken on board what you've said and you've helped them and they've improved their writing, and they're keen to tell you that because they come and tell you their marks and just when they're starting on the next piece. So it's knowing that you're doing some good, I guess.
I think there are challenges. Sometimes a student will come up and they'll bring up things that I see lots of things that they could do, but it's about picking the most valuable ones, I suppose, and finding the things that are going to help them best. So I guess the kind of everyday, day-to-day challenge is just making sure that you give each student the sort of best advice that you can.
I suppose there are always challenges in this sort of environment. A lot of that tends to come down to students not really understanding what we do and thinking that we are editors or proofreaders or dyslexia support, those sorts of things. Just got to explain that you've got the wrong end of the stick, but we're like the friend that reads your essay for you and tells you whether it makes any sense or not.
I think listen rather than talk as much as you can.
Question.
Yeah, the question is the way to
Give answers.
yeah.
Bear with us too as well.
Yeah, bear with
probably.
us. Don't get offended when we're grumpy. Don't feel you have to know all the answers. So it's about asking questions, but it's not about having to know those answers. You're not on your own up here, that it's a collective effort, what we're trying to do here, and so you're not being judged as an individual on how well you mentor. So don't just see it as a job, see it as an opportunity, I think. It's not just you're paid 3 hours to do this. Otherwise it would just be what we think is a good idea, and really, it's much more about what students think is a good idea.
Advice to a new writing mentor would be overall to enjoy it, be happy with what you do, and listen to what the student has to tell you, and above all, use your other writing mentors, because we're all skilled in specific areas, so don't be afraid to ask for help, basically, but enjoy it mainly.
Lasagna.